Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Trudger MC, and today we are looking at the McFarlane Toys Spawn Universe She-Spawn, but this time we're comparing her with the original She-Spawn from Spawn Series 4 back in 1996. And, yeah, if you weren't too big a fan of the comparison with the Jessica Priest figure, well, I feel like this comparison will make more sense. So, here they are stacked up against each other, and like with the previous one, we are going to look at the 5 A's that I consider to be, like good deciding factors in terms of action figures. And if you're new here, what those 5 A's are, they stand for no particular order: aesthetic, articulation, accessories, and then action and addition. Okay, and then, like with the previous one, let's just get one category out of the way. Articulation, this one is obviously better. This one had some good articulation at the time, but it does have a V cut for the legs, and I just don't like the V cut, and, yeah, in all objectivity, this one has a way better, articulation. So, that's obviously going to go to that one, so there you go. That's 1 point already to this one. Now, for the other categories, well, I guess another one we can easily get out of the way is action. And what I mean by action is play feature, okay? And this one doesn't have any play features. This one does. And you just push on this, and this missile shoots out. And yeah, if you saw my my older video talking about the best McFarlane Toys Spawn, action figure missiles, you know that I really liked this one. So, yeah, that's obviously 1 point to that one. So, now let's get into the other three. That with this one, you can really, decide of, what's most important. So, let's talk about the aesthetic. And, again, if you want to know more about these figures, you can check out my review for them. But, yeah, in terms of aesthetic, this one looks good. It looks accurate to, how She-Spawn looks today, Jessica Priest as She-Spawn, so all of that looks pretty good. And then with this one here, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure when this figure came out in 1996, She-Spawn wasn't a character in the comics at the time. So this was basically just an original design that they just came up with, and I think for that's actually really cool. You can definitely tell that this is supposed to be Spawn. You got the M there on the front, and then you got the iconic, face there, and you got some reds and blacks, so it definitely looks accurate to, what a lot of people think of in terms of Spawn. But then instead of there being a massive cape, there's just a whole bunch of, like, bone armor and spikes and, like, leather. I don't know if this is supposed to be leather or what that's supposed to be. But then you got chains, you got some bone armor as well, and, yeah. And she also has a sword, so, like, she's not really a gun-type character like Al Simmons is. And, yeah, so, like, this is just such an interesting design, and, like, for the time, how She-Spawn wasn't really a character yet. They just kind of made up of, let's just make a girl Spawn character, and then they came up with that. I think that that's really cool. So, even though this one, I can acknowledge, is accurate to the source material, I personally am going to give the aesthetic to this one. And, yeah, I just think it's really interesting and has some good shelf presence. And, yeah, so there's that. And then, speaking of shelf presence, we could also talk about the addition. And what I mean by addition is basically, like, if you're going to get a figure and then you want it to look good next to other figures, which one would be better? So basically, like, which one looks better in terms of a collection? And with this one, I feel like it is kind of debatable of, like, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to have a modern Spawn line and, like, have that kind of thing? Or are you going to have, just a general Spawn line? And so I feel like it depends, but if it, this is what I'm thinking here. This is my thought process behind this. So if you are saying, like, I want to have a collection of Spawn figures, which one out of these two looks more like a Spawn character? And I would say that would be this one. Like, if you didn't know who either of these were, but you knew who Spawn was, I was like, okay, which one looks more like Spawn? You would probably say this one. So, I feel like in terms of addition, even though this is a smaller figure, and is definitely an older figure and has more dated articulation and all of that, I feel like this one would be the way to go. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're trying to build a modern collection, obviously this one is the way to go, because She-Spawn looks like this in the comics. So, yeah, but I feel like if you're just doing like a general Spawn thing, I think this one is the way to go. So this She-Spawn is going to get the point there. And then in terms of accessories, I feel like I already explained this with the Jessica Priest figure. You can check that out, the comparison between those two. But I feel like this one does have the better accessories just because it's good for her and good for other figures in that scale. Yeah, so I feel like, this one has better accessories and articulation. But honestly, I feel like the original one is better in the other regards. And you can agree with me if you want. You can disagree with me. But that's basically where I'm going to leave it. So, I kind of already said a lot about this figure in the previous comparison, so I feel like, there's not really too much, to say again or, emphasize or anything like that. But, yeah, that's what I think. So, if you were to ask me of, you have to keep one of these two, and as much as I really like this figure, and I really like this figure, I feel like this one is slightly better. So this one is going to get 3 points out of the 5 A's, and this one's going to get 2. So there you go. And yeah, you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but there we go. If you wanted a concrete answer, because I didn't really give one with the previous one, I was like, well, it depends. That's my concrete answer. I would say this one, although you definitely can't go wrong with this one either. So that's where I'm going to leave it. It's kind of a shorter comparison, but again, I've kind of said everything, and if you want more in-depth, looks in terms of what these are like, what you get for the figure, you can check out the reviews for those. But that's about all I got. So if you enjoyed this, you agree with me, or whatever it might be, do be sure to leave a like. You can let me know in the comments what you think. If you say, yep, I agree with you, or nope, I think this one is way better, it's better in every regard, or it's the thing of, this one's better and it's not even a question, whatever it might be. So, I'm open to all that, whatever y'all want to talk about. And then if you haven't already subscribed, you like this kind of content, well, then you might as well. Because I do intend to continue doing this. But yeah, so that's about all that I got going on there. But I do hope that whatever happens, I do hope that you enjoyed, and I do also hope that I will see you all later. So, goodbye.